Right.
Coach, they always said no easy games in the ACC, and certainly this proved to be the case today. Just, what do you feel like made for such a tough game against a team that really struggled? I know they hit shots today, which is just what really turned this into such a tight game.
Well, I think they hit shots because we gave them the rhythm to make shots. I just, coming into this game, percentage-wise, defensive percentage, like we were number one in the ACC. I felt like we were improving defensively. We're doing a better job of protecting the paint. We're number one in terms of defending the three. And our approach defensively was not good. For them to be able to shoot 55% from the field and take nothing away. Boston College played great. Coach Grant, I have tremendous respect for him. I just didn't play very well defensively at all.
Hubert, I asked Jay Wash, what the missing piece was on defense, and he said it essentially came down to pride, like drawing a line in the sand and things like that. From your estimation, do you agree with that from what you saw out there today?
I do believe in the latter part of the game, specifically when we were down by 4 with I don't know how many seconds to go, and including how much?
18.6.
18.6 down 4, and in the overtime, I felt like we were locked in defensively. We got the stops that we needed, the deflections, the steals that we needed to be able to get us back in the game and eventually be able to win it. I felt like the execution offensively down the stretch was on point in terms of our spacing, our screening. We made shots. They stepped up, and I was really proud of them for being able to do that in a pressure situation. But all the minutes leading up to that, just disappointed.
So where did they find that during that last 20 seconds on those inbound situations? RJ said he was frustrated that it wasn't there before, but they found it, and he said pride, some other types of things. Where do you think they found that to make those plays?
I don't know. This group has always found it. I think they have found it when they have needed it. And it's needed at the jump ball. And that's something that's just going to have to change.
Hubert, I know you haven't had a chance to look at it, but what do you think was going wrong with the closeouts as far as the three-point hits that Boston College was getting?
Yeah, just we knew, Hand was a great three-point shooter, and for him to get 8 looks from 3. Our closeouts got to be better. Our attention to detail has to be better. Our rotations off of ball screens. I felt like the Chicago action, the DHOs really hurt us. Their re-screens were hurting us. I felt like our ball screen defense was allowing them to get into the paint, which put a lot of pressure on us to protect the paint, which allowed them to throw the ball out and be able to shoot the ball from 3. And so we had to double the post. And so those are things that open up the perimeter. And I think it's a combination of a number of things. I really don't think it's one thing. I think it was everything for the most part of the game.
Hubert, I know that you've always said you don't put a ton of stock in who starts for you, the starting lineup, that type of thing, but you did make a few changes today.
I did.
You did go a little smaller with the 4 guards, and then what were some of your thoughts around just making those moves?
Yeah, I just, we had lost the last couple of games. Seth was coming back from a concussion and missed 2.5 weeks, and I felt like he was in a position, he's so good defensively, he can rebound the basketball. I felt like that would be good for us to start the game. His experience and leadership to start the game, and then in the second half, you know, we weren't playing any defense, and
Yeah.
so just put 5 guys out there that I felt like could possibly get a stop, you know, and it was. But that was my thinking at starting the game, and that was my thinking the lineup after halftime.
I think you guys missed your first 5 or 6 shots of the second half as well. Ian sat the last 6.5 minutes or so of the first half. Didn't start the second half. When he went in, he gave you some offense. Did he do some of the things when he went back in that you wanted him to do, for maybe why he had that long stretch on the
Yeah,
bench?
no, he did. I mean, Ian is a great kid, and he's obviously a huge part of this team, and he's just obviously, you know, a gifted scorer, and getting better defensively, and you know, I just at times I felt like having more length and more experience out there from a defensive standpoint, we needed to get stops. We were scoring at will. The offense wasn't the problem. I mean, we scored 102 points, and we were on pace to score that even at halftime, and we needed stops. And so I was looking for answers that could, you know, who changed the game for us was Tyshawn. He was in the game for 5 minutes, that first stretch in there, and it was his energy. His energy and his effort changed the entire game for us. We came in the huddle and everybody was screaming, saying, see, it's just one guy that's playing hard. Look what it's doing. He changed the game completely in that small time there. And the only reason I took him out is he was tired. And so I had to give him a break, or he would have stayed in. I would have not taken him out. And I was really proud of his effort and him being ready when his number was called.
Hubert, the length of Drake, when you can put him on the inbounder, seemed like that came up clutch too. Like what, I don't know if luxury is the right word, but what kind of asset is that to be able to put a guy that long and that, you know, with those abilities on an inbounder who's stuck in one spot there?
It was great. You know, we've been in situations where it's been difficult for us to get the ball in with size, and Drake has the athleticism and the length to be able to make it very difficult to get the ball in, and he was great out of bounds underneath, side out of bounds. He was huge for us. His activity, I mean, you could point to a number of different people.
Sure.
We won the game because
Yeah.
of this person, and you know, one of the people that you can point towards is Drake.
What went through your mind when you saw Jay wash down?
I didn't see the play. My hope that it wasn't his knee, which it isn't.
Yeah.
And so that just scared me, you know, with the history of his injuries, in particular the knee. And so with him not getting up quickly, that's the first thing that went through my mind. But I'm thankful it wasn't that, and I'm thankful that he's good.
Was it tough to refocus on the game after seeing him go off like that with, you know, his history in mind?
No, I knew as soon as he got up that his knee was fine. And so I was able to stay locked into what was going on and also be concerned for Jalen, just making sure he was okay.
Did he tell you he was okay, or was it one of the training staff that told you?
No, I could just tell. I've been around them for 3 years. I know these kids. I know when they're in a good mood, bad mood, when they have to go to the bathroom, when they're hungry. I know everything.
Last one, Adam.
Hubert, talking to RJ and Seth, I know you tend to keep the post-game message in the locker room pretty short, get in and get out, but both of those guys mentioned the talk you gave, you just sort of made it a little more personal, just about
I did.
your experiences and things like that. Like, what do you think came over you in those moments that had you saying those words?
Playing here is more than just playing here. I told them, and I've told them my story, but I've told them that everything significant in my life has happened here. I just didn't go to school here. I just didn't play here. I just didn't graduate from here. This is where I became a Christian. This is where I fell in love with my wife. This is where we got married. This is where I bought my first house. This is where we got married. This is where we decided to raise our 3 kids. Like, this is not a job. This is my home. and it's the home of every one of the other coaches as well. And every other coach, because they've experienced this place, can say the same things. When you put on that uniform, when you're in that locker room, when you run through that tunnel and you play on that floor, it's more than just basketball. You're a part of something that is a part of your life. And that's the emotion that I played with. That's the emotion that I coach with. And that's the emotion that I want each player to play with. And maybe it's harder now. When I was here, I didn't have to deal with NIL, transfer portal. I didn't have an agent. My dad was in the stands and he was my dad, never talked to me about basketball. I wasn't in a hurry to get to the NBA. I didn't have those things. I was right where I wanted to be, and I never wanted to leave.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Coach.